Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. Today is going to be a great show. We're going to talk about house flipping. We're going to talk about Colorado and how hot the market is there. I was just reading an article that there's like 3 markets in Colorado right now, which are the top 20 in the nation. There's a lot of people that are moving and trying to find housing, and there's such a limited inventory, even with inflation and all. People are still needing to find houses. So if you've been around and doing a lot of flips and you understand the flip game and you're not like, this isn't your first rodeo, there's still tremendous opportunity as long as you can get deal flow. And we've got a gentleman, Donny, who's going to be joining us from Traction Capital Management. He's done a couple hundred flips in the last couple of years. He knows what he's doing. He's growing his business in this market, which is crazy, right? Because everybody talks about competitions. He's obviously built a funnel to get deals and knows what he's doing. Wholesalers bring him deals because he closes on them. And so Donny, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Beau. Really appreciate you having me.
Yes. So Donny, how did you, like, over the last couple of years, your flip business has grown so much? Like, how did you get started in the business, and like what's been your key principles of success?
Well, I guess how did I get started? Let's start there. My first flip was actually done about a week after my daughter was born, and she just turned 18, so I'm feeling really old as I say that. But they say you never forget your first one, but I bought a house in downtown Colorado Springs, Colorado. I did everything wrong. First of all, it was a turn-of-the-century Victorian home. Mistake one. Number two, I knew nothing about construction. Ironically, I know nothing about construction now, so I haven't learned anything in that area. That was mistake number two. And the partner that I partnered with wasn't exactly the right partner because he didn't have the construction either. Long story short, in the end, we went through all the rigmarole, did pretty much everything wrong, and I still walked out of that closing, my first closing ever, with a check for $17,846.32. Like I said, you never forget your first one, right? But some of the fundamental principles that I picked up along the way is obviously you make your money when you buy. You've heard that a ton in the flipping space, but it's more important now than ever because the market's in a shift, So you really got to focus on your back-end numbers. Cost of labor's gone way up. Cost of materials has gone way up. So you truly have to do a lot of deal analysis on the front end. I think we've been taking for granted because the market's appreciating so fast how easy, quote unquote, this business is. But I can tell you it's going to get a lot more complicated, and only the true operators or professionals are going to make it in this new transitional market. But a lot of stuff I've learned along the way, but a ton of stuff that's just basic fundamental principles of buy low, sell high, still apply in the market. But you got to do your homework, got to do the analysis. Yeah,
that's so true. So what are you doing that well, obviously you've been around for doing this for several years, almost 20 years. But yes, what do you do differently on your why are you getting the deal flow where maybe other people are struggling? Is it just because people know, like, and trust you, and they know, like, when you say, hey, I'm going to close, and you don't, have you built those type of relationships? Or are you doing your own marketing, or is it mostly wholesalers you're buying from?
Yeah, so we are doing our own marketing. We have a launch control SMS texting system, so we're doing a decent amount of outbound texting. But the majority of it really is the second one, what you said. You build a reputation in town for something, right? And Colorado Springs, widely known, we're growing rapidly. But the reality is we still have this small town vibe. But anywhere you happen to be, if you make a promise to a wholesaler, to a capital partner, if you're putting your word out there and you fulfill that obligation, you're going to find that business comes to you. I think that's where a lot of people getting in the business don't understand. There's a ton of trepidation, I guess, when you're making a $300,000 or $400,000 purchase. We all feel the same nervousness. I play the guitar, and every time I get on stage, I swear to you, years later, I still catch a little bit of butterflies before I step on that stage. I think any artist would tell you the same. Well, real estate's the same thing. Once you say you're going to buy a deal, you got to buy the deal. And because I've done that for so many years of building relationships, now it really is a know, like, and trust thing, like you said, Beau. Because I've kept my promises for years, the majority of our deals are coming from other people who know I'm going to close. They know I've got the funding, and they know once I sign my name to a contract to buy a property, that deal is going to close, and it's going to close on time. That's been the primary source of my business growth, is just doing what I say I'm going to do.
That's awesome. And like, what does your model look like? Do you try to stick with like entry level, like the cookie cutter, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-bedroom, 2-bath? I mean, that seems to be, in my flipping experience, it seems like I like the kind of entry level home. Like, there's less risk in those type of deals. Is that where you focus?
Absolutely. You want to go where your market is, right? And so we look at the median price of the home, which has gone up in Colorado Springs to $530,000 in the last year. But we're trying to stay ideally below median with a target of being 10% below median or better, right? So that's not hard and fast. I'm affectionately a deal whore, shooting straight with you. If it's a deal, I'm probably going to buy it. But I do try to stay at that median or below median because that's where the majority of your buyers are, right? So you want to be able to appeal to the market base that's the largest. We definitely look for that pricing model as cheap as possible. If you can build the nicest house on the block at the lowest price, you've got the most amount of buyers to buy that property.
Now, doing 50, 60 flips a year, that's a lot of flips. And I think where's the bottleneck, right? Like, where do most flippers bottleneck? Is it just like managing the contractors and like accounting? And I mean, that just seems like a huge cluster right there.
We're bottlenecking in a lot of places, shooting straight with you. And I think important, I want to be super transparent and vulnerable here. You don't build a company at this level without bottlenecking pretty much in every section. But to answer your questions on the immediate bottleneck, currently one of the struggles we're having is managing contractor relationships. Labor is at all-time highs. Parts at all-time highs. So we have our really tried and true contractor group, but we're definitely bottlenecking in labor and resources. The second one is literally keeping me up at night right now, and that's the bookkeeping and accounting side. Just trying to manage all of these moving parts is such a disaster day to day. We're working through it. We're putting in a bookkeeper. We've got QuickBooks. We've got a software called Builder Trend, which is designed to do project management on that side. But even with those things in place, Beau, I can tell you it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff to manage. The point is you're going to bottleneck somewhere. You got to be prepared for those bottlenecks best you can. And listen, if you want to make the big money, if you're looking to take your business to the next level, you have to be willing to tolerate some growth pains. I actually look forward to some of the bottlenecks and push into those because we want to try to fix those problems as quick as possible.
That's really good advice. I mean, the bottom line, if you're not having bottlenecks, that probably means you're not growing. You're probably retracting. Right. And so you gotta be comfortable in stressful situations. When I was doing a lot of flipping, I was always kind of stressed out, and that's why I didn't really love flipping as much as like I buy and fix a property and then rent it out. It's very simple. But when you're doing the numbers you're doing, I mean, the beautiful thing is it can be huge chunks of change. What's the ultimate plan when you're, to get out of maybe being such a big operator and kind of putting it on autopilot? You get to some point in your business where it becomes a little bit easier and you can put the systems in place where you can kind of step away from the day-to-day operations?
Yes. And that's been the objective really since day one, but we're just now kind of coming to that realization. We have an operations manager who's a rock star, but it's a six-figure position, and if you're going to hire rock stars of the team, if you're going to automate a business at the level that we're running, you have to have all rock stars, I fully believe, especially at your top level management. This flipping game, 1 or 2, is a lot of mental bandwidth, but when you're starting to do 4 or 5 simultaneously, you have to bring on a team, you have to set up automations, you've got to do all those pieces and processes, and, it's not for everybody. I don't want to turn anybody, who wants to get into the game right now, but you do have to understand that 1 or 2 might be the lifestyle that you really want. People think they want a large flipping business until we're at the scale that we're at. And I love what I do and I love my business, but I got to tell you, man, if you don't really want this and are willing to deal with the rigmarole and the hiring of the rock stars and the training and the turnover, then this is not for the faint of heart. I love it, but you definitely have to be all in.
That's good advice. So like right now, you're building out a fund to kind of streamline the capital portion of the business. You do have some coaching students as well. You have a podcast. Where are you going to grow your business, and what do you like about the coaching business?
You're listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, Beau Eckstein here, host of the Investor Financing Podcast. Are you a lender, real estate professional, or vendor that provides products or services within the real estate investing and business owner space? We are offering a few sponsorship opportunities to get in front of a highly targeted audience. If you're interested, please click the link below for further information. We look forward to talking with you. Thanks. Make it a great day.
I love the coaching because I do have the heart of a teacher. And in the end, I enjoy the idea of passing on the knowledge that I've garnered along the way and helping people. I fully believe that I can shortcut really what took me 5 years to intensely learn. So I've been flipping, like I said, since my daughter was born, but I really went at it in the last 4 to 5 years and started building systems and scaling the business. I think I could cut down what took me 5 years for somebody to 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, just by shortcutting some of the obvious mistakes looking back that I made. And my real secret success was my mentorship. So I had a coach, I had a guy who helped me along the way. And I just think if you're going to do anything really well, right, but particularly this business, which has so many moving parts, you really want to get a coaching and mentorship from somebody who has the heart of a teacher, somebody who cares about their clientele, is not just looking to make a buck from coaching, but also somebody who's done it. A lot of these gurus out there who are teaching flipping, or teaching what I do, have not scaled a business to the level that we've scaled a business. So I feel uniquely qualified to coach people in a space where I feel like I'm a rock star myself, so I can pass on some of that rock star knowledge and tutelage to somebody who really wants to take this to the next level.
That's some really good advice. Donny, where's the best place for people to follow you and they can find out more information about you?
Yeah, absolutely. LinkedIn would be the best. Donny Coram, DonnyCoram. You can get me at Donny at TrackCap, TrackCap.com. And man, I love talking to people. I'm a talker. I know with a podcast, though, you've got to be the same. But reach out, man. Shoot me a text first, 719-649-2500. But I just love chatting with people about what I do, and people are looking to advance their business. So please text, call me. Let's have the conversation. I'd love to further my knowledge, further my network. And I appreciate meeting with you and just the discussion we had about your podcast, et cetera. I learned something for everybody I interact with. So I'm big in as many interactions as I can get. That's
so awesome, guys. I hope you enjoy this. We just talked to somebody who's in the trenches, doing a lot of numbers, and active and transparent is what I like about him, right? Because, hey, this is a tough business. If you're flipping houses or you want to get involved in flipping houses, it's not like the TV shows, guys. It's a lot of work, and it's stressful, but you can make a lot of money if you do it well. So this is kind of the story. Listen, and even in today's market where people are scared and there's up, down, no matter what, if you buy correctly, you're going to make money on deals. So, and we all lose money on deals too. But the idea is that you go to bat, and the majority of the time you're getting on base with singles and doubles, and occasionally you hit a home run. And sometimes it's just the market that helps you hit a home run versus like you did something great. Right. We've had a lot of help with the market lately, but now it's going to come down to being a good operator. So Donny, pleasure to have you on the show. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next episode.